United States, my homestead, Florida, USA. Video log is about battery maintenance and tips. Video log. This is not a how-to, this is how I do it. Before you start working on a no start or no spark situation, it's really handy to get at an automotive supply or marine supply one of these remote starter switches. This is Actron, A-C-T-R-O-N CP7853. And the way you connect it is on the starter, there'll be a little wire that is to the solenoid on the starter, and a big wire which is power for the starter. And the solenoid connects the heavy 500 or 1000 amp wire through the solenoid to the starter to make the starter work. Now this would be for like a no crank or no start. You could have a bad starter, and this is a way to find out if your solenoid and starter are good before you have to remove it. You can hook up a remote starter switch and bypass basically everything in this boat and do it in a few minutes if you can figure out the connection points. Now I wish I could tell you that every marine starter for this engine is the same, but they're not. There's a original equipment manufacturer's OEM that was heavy steel and used to fail all the time, but at least the parts were cheap and you can get them everywhere, and all the starter rebuilders knew about that starter. I don't know who made it, but I assume it was somebody for General Motors. The other starter that I have in here is Arco Marine, and it's a lightweight starter. And I don't like the gear reduction starters on marine engines, because if you have any hydrostatic lock, it amplifies the problem of bending rods or damaging the engine if it doesn't want to start. I like a standard starter, although this Arco Marine starter is a lightweight aluminum and extremely durable compared to the OEM, original equipment manufacturer starter. And this switch is really handy when you're setting timing on the engine or you're troubleshooting a no start or no crank. Now on this boat I have battery 1 and battery 2, and I have an extra ground cable from the battery bus, which is, these two are connected together on the negative side. Heavy bus with a cable going right to the starter case. Now the reason for that is a lot of times the starters have bad grounds. There's nothing wrong with the starter or the solenoid, it's just not grounded properly. So an extra ground cable is an insurance policy. Besides the cable, the manufacturer recommends the engine block, just to make sure your starter has ample good solid ground. I put a second cable on mine, and I have a battery 1, battery 2, both are off switch. And here we have a load tester, which is only 100 amp, but this will give you a good idea with this OTC 3180. And make sure your batteries are completely charged with this battery maintainer 15 amp or 3 amp charger made by Schumacher, SC1280, model SC1280 I bought online, and I like that one. And I'm sorry for the poor lighting, I can't show you the connections on the starter, but every marine engine is different, an automotive engine on the starter, so you have to ferret out where to connect the remote starter switch. And these are very affordable items, this remote starter, the battery load tester, and OTC makes a 130 amp version of this that I like even better, but this one was less expensive. And then you have your Schumacher battery tester, and I really like that one, but that's not for outdoor use. It's for, you got to keep that one out of the weather. And I also like battery tenders for long-term maintainer. Battery Tender is the brand, and I like those, but buy the outdoor sports model, higher output, and it's designed to withstand the weather to some degree at least. It's water resistant. I don't know if it's waterproof. Anyway, hope you enjoy the video.